It's a beautiful sunny California day, but behind the golden glow, a shadow lingers, a whisper of a voice that once soared, now silenced too soon. We're talking about Karen Carpenter, a name that evokes both pure, melodic joy and profound heartbreaking tragedy. Forget what you think you know, because today we're diving deep into the untold story of the girl who was a drumming powerhouse, a vocal enchantress, and a soul-battling and invisible monster. Get ready, because this isn't your average biography. It's a journey into the heart of a legend. Karen Ann Carpenter, born on March 2nd, 1950 in New Haven, Connecticut, was destined for a life steeped in music, though perhaps not in the way her family initially imagined. Her father, Harold Bertram Carpenter, was a printer, and interestingly, the son of missionaries who had served in China, hinting at a background of discipline and perhaps a certain stoicism. Her mother, Agnes Rower Carpenter, was a homemaker, a figure who would later cast a long, complicated shadow over Karen's life. From an early age, it was her older brother, Richard, who displayed an almost prodigious talent for music, particularly the piano. Richard, a self-taught piano wunderkind, captivated their parents, leading to early aspirations for his musical career. Their relationship, a complex tapestry of sibling rivalry and undeniable collaboration, would define their lives and the iconic sound they would eventually create. In June 1963, the family uprooted their lives from New Haven and moved to Downey, California, a suburban city in Los Angeles County. This move was largely motivated by Richard's burgeoning musical ambitions, as California offered more opportunities for aspiring musicians. Yet, in this pursuit of Richard's dream, Karen's own blossoming musical genius remained largely unnoticed, a quiet spark that would later ignite into a brilliant flame. Growing up, Karen often felt like she was living in Richard's shadow, perceiving her mother's distinct favoritism toward her brother. This perceived neglect of her own budding talents and emotional needs would unfortunately contribute to significant psychological struggles later in life, particularly as she grappled with fame and personal identity. But before the music fully took hold, young Karen was an active, spirited child. She loved to dance, excelling in both tap and ballet, demonstrating an early affinity for rhythm and movement. Beyond the studio, she was a force to be reckoned with on the street. She loved playing baseball, even in casual street games, showcasing an innate athleticism and competitive spirit. It's telling that she'd even get picked for street baseball games before her older brother, despite being younger and a girl, a testament to her natural ability and perhaps a hint of the inner strength that would later be overshadowed. Her family life remained tightly knit well into her adulthood. It wasn't until 1974 that Karen finally moved out of her parents' home, a significant step towards independence for the global superstar. In 1976, she further solidified this newfound autonomy by purchasing 2 apartments in Century City, a prestigious area in Los Angeles, and combining them into one spacious, luxurious residence, a subtle but clear declaration of her desire for personal space and her own sanctuary away from the family home. Now, let's talk about the music, because that's where the magic truly began, where Karen's raw talent could no longer be ignored. Karen's journey into the world of percussion started almost by accident in high school in 1964. Faced with the choice of dreaded gym classes, she sought an alternative. After admiring her classmate drummer Frankie Chavez, who effortlessly handled the complexities of a drum kit, Karen bravely asked to play the drums instead of the glockenspiel in the school band. This seemingly minor decision would alter the course of her life. Her ambition was clear. She yearned for a Ludwig drum kit, just like her idols, the legendary jazz drummer Joe Morello, and the Beatles' iconic Ringo Starr. What followed was nothing short of astonishing. Karen was a natural, a gifted prodigy who taught herself complex rhythms with an uncanny ease. She dedicated herself to practicing daily, relentlessly refining her craft. And incredibly, within a year, she was effortlessly playing in intricate time signatures like 5/4, a feat that professional drummers often struggle to master. Initially, public performances filled her with anxiety, a stark contrast to her later stage presence. But she famously said she was too immersed in the music to be nervous about it, a testament to her deep connection with her craft. While she briefly attended the University of Texas at Austin, her academic pursuits didn't last long. Instead, she immersed herself in music at Long Beach State, where she performed in the university choir alongside Richard. It was here that she truly began to find her voice, gaining confidence as a singer and embarking on vocal lessons that would further hone her extraordinary gift. She cultivated a rich 3-octave alto range, a voice that would become instantly recognizable and universally adored. Richard himself described her voice as having a distinct 3-octave range that was pure and true, and it was praised by her peers and industry veterans alike. Legendary producer Frank Pooler famously called her a natural pop singer, recognizing the innate quality of her vocal delivery that transcended mere technique. Karen and Richard's first public performance together was in the musical Guys and Dolls, offering an early glimpse of their undeniable chemistry. Before the Carpenters, Karen's very first foray into band life was with 2+2, an all-female trio she formed with friends from high school, showcasing her early initiative and collaborative spirit. In 1965, Karen, Richard, and college friend Wes Jacobs formed the Dick Carpenter Trio, playing jazz standards and original compositions in various clubs around Los Angeles. Interestingly, Karen initially didn't sing with this group, leaving the vocal duties to guest vocalist Margaret Chenor. The trio's talent caught the attention of RCA Records, leading to a signing and the recording of 2 instrumental tracks, though unfortunately these early recordings were never released. Then, in 1966, a pivotal moment arrived that truly highlighted Karen's individual vocal brilliance. She auditioned to sing Looking for Love for Joe Osborne, a renowned bassist and producer. Karen captivated everyone in the studio with her unique voice, leading to a solo recording contract with Osborne for his Magic Lamp Records label. This early recording, a testament to her nascent solo appeal, would later become a highly sought-after collector's item for fans eager to trace the origins of her extraordinary voice. In 1967, with Wes Jacobs' departure, the Carpenter siblings formed a new group, Spectrum, which allowed them to further hone their signature harmonious vocal sound. They meticulously recorded numerous demo tapes, experimenting with their distinctive blend of pop and jazz influences. However, they struggled to attract live audiences as their sophisticated sound was distinctly different from the loud, rebellious hard rock and psychedelic rock that dominated the music scene at the time. Their unique style, which would later define their success, was ahead of its time for live performance venues. They even faced a memorable incident where they were banned from Disneyland after performing psychedelic songs like The Doors' Light My Fire, which clashed dramatically with the park's carefully curated family-friendly theme. This early struggle highlights their determination to stick to their artistic vision despite prevailing trends. But fate, as it often does, had other plans, recognizing the undeniable talent that was bubbling beneath the surface. In 1969, the legendary A&M Records, known for its roster of eclectic and talented artists, finally recognized their potential and signed the Carpenters to a recording contract. From the outset, Karen was both the group's drummer and lead vocalist, a dual role that was highly unusual and showcased her exceptional versatility. She often sang from behind her drum kit, an image that became synonymous with their early performances. Their debut album, Offering, later re-released as Ticket to Ride, primarily featured Karen's unparalleled vocals, setting the stage for her rise to superstardom. However, at 5 feet 4 inches, 1.63 meters, Karen's height made it difficult for audiences to fully see her behind the massive drum kit during live shows. Richard and their shrewd manager eventually convinced her to step out from behind the kit and sing their hit songs at the microphone, a strategic move to maximize her captivating stage presence. Initially, she found this shift challenging, admitting she felt more secure and comfortable behind her drums, where she could lose herself in the rhythm. After their groundbreaking 1973 album, Now and Then, which featured hits like Sing and Yesterday Once More, Karen began to sing more and drum less in their live performances. This transition saw her become the undisputed focal point of their recordings and live shows, fully embracing her role as the lead singer. While she was the primary drummer on seminal albums like Ticket to Ride and Now and Then, studio sessions often featured the legendary session drummer Hal Blaine. This arrangement allowed for greater flexibility and efficiency in recording Karen's vocals, as she could focus solely on her singing without the demands of simultaneous drumming. Yet, despite her soaring vocal fame, Karen always considered herself a drummer who sings, a testament to her deep passion and connection to her first instrument. This self-identification speaks volumes about her artistic integrity and how she saw herself as a complete musician, not just a vocalist. The late 1970s brought significant changes for the Carpenters. In 1979, during Richard's year-long hiatus to address his Quaaludes addiction, a period of immense personal struggle for him, Karen seized the opportunity to explore her own musical identity. She embarked on a solo album project in New York, a creative venture that was a radical departure from the typical Carpenters sound. This album leaned more towards disco and up-tempo tracks, featuring a more contemporary sound with sophisticated arrangements. The lyrics were more mature, reflecting a desire to explore different themes, and crucially, the project showcased Karen's impressive upper vocal register, pushing the boundaries of her renowned alto. However, this artistic exploration faced strong opposition from both Richard, who felt it diverged too much from their established sound, and A&M executives who feared it would alienate their loyal fan base. The album was ultimately shelved, a decision that deeply disheartened Karen. To add insult to injury, A&M even demanded that Karen pay back a staggering $400,000 to cover recording costs, a heavy financial and emotional burden for her. It wasn't until 1996, long after her passing, that her complete solo album, simply titled Karen Carpenter, was finally released, giving fans a glimpse into a different side of her artistry and the potential path her solo career might have taken. The last song Karen ever recorded was Now, in April 1982, a poignant and haunting final note in her extraordinary yet tragically cut short career. This beautiful ballad with its reflective lyrics felt like a farewell to the world she was leaving behind. Now, we delve into the more private and ultimately tragic aspects of Karen's life, her personal struggles and health battles, which remained largely hidden from the public eye for too long. By 1975, the immense pressures of constant touring, relentless recording schedules, and the complicated family dynamics particularly her relationship with her mother, began to manifest as symptoms of anorexia nervosa. This eating disorder, characterized by an obsessive fear of gaining weight and a distorted body image, took a devastating toll on her physical and mental health. By 1976, her weight plummeted to a skeletal 91 pounds, 41 kilograms, a visible and alarming change that audiences began to notice, reacting to her gaunt appearance with gasps of concern during live performances. Despite the obvious signs, she publicly dismissed her condition, simply stating she was tired or stressed, a common coping mechanism for those suffering from eating disorders who often feel immense shame and a desire to hide their illness. Her mother, Agnes Carpenter, played a complex and often detrimental role in Karen's life. Agnes was described as having a terrifying, cruel streak and made no secret of Richard being her favorite child. This overt favoritism deeply impacted Karen, who constantly sought her mother's love and praise, but consistently felt a profound sense of indifference from her. This emotional void contributed significantly to Karen's deep-seated insecurities and her relentless pursuit of perfection, which sadly fueled her illness. A critical turning point occurred in 1976 after Karen saw a photograph of herself on stage that she absolutely despised. She believed the outfit made her look heavy, a distorted perception that triggered a rapid and dangerous decline in her weight. In a desperate attempt to control her body, she hired a personal trainer, but after gaining muscle that she perceived as making her look bigger, she abruptly fired the trainer. From then on, she took matters into her own hands, obsessively losing weight through excessive exercise and rigorous calorie counting, meticulously documenting every bite. When dining out, a common occurrence for a touring musician, she developed a cunning trick. She would often share her food with others or simply push it around her plate to reduce her perceived calorie intake, a silent and desperate plea for control. Her mother, Agnes, a keen observer, eventually noticed this manipulative tactic and, in her own misguided attempts to help, tried to force Karen to eat more, often leading to distressing confrontations. The public's awareness of Karen's struggles, though still veiled, grew. In a particularly uncomfortable 1981 BBC Nationwide interview, interviewer Sue Lawley directly questioned Karen about her weight and suspected anorexia, visibly upsetting and distressing Karen. Richard Carpenter, witnessing his sister's discomfort, had to intervene, stating unequivocally that such personal questions were inappropriate. This incident highlights the invasive nature of fame and the lack of understanding surrounding eating disorders at the time. Despite her personal battles, Karen's vibrant personality shone through in her romantic life as she dated several notable figures in the entertainment industry. Her rumored and confirmed relationships included Mike Curb, Tony Danza, Terry Ellis, Tom Baylor, Mark Harmon, Steve Martin, Alan Osmond, and Bill Hudson, indicating her desire for connection and perhaps a search for the love and acceptance she craved. On August 31, 1980, Karen married real estate developer Thomas James Burris, a man 9 years her senior who was divorced with an 18-year-old son. Karen, who deeply longed for children and a family of her own, discovered that Burris had undergone a vasectomy and, heartbreakingly, refused to reverse the procedure. This fundamental disagreement about having children led to significant discord and ultimately contributed to the breakdown of their marriage after just 14 months, a period of intense unhappiness for Karen. Beyond this, Burris also lived beyond his means, borrowing up to $50,000 from Karen, equivalent to a substantial $172,932 in 2024 when adjusted for inflation, adding financial strain to their already troubled relationship. A close friend of Karen's later described the marriage as the final straw in her escalating emotional distress, suggesting it pushed her further into the depths of her illness. Burris was reportedly cruel and hot-tempered, and in a particularly devastating incident, he allegedly called her a bag of bones when she tearfully suggested having children, a remark that underscored his insensitivity to her deepest desires and her fragile state. In September 1981, a month before their separation, Carpenter, perhaps clinging to a final hope for the marriage, amended her will, leaving her house and its contents to Burris. However, she shrewdly left everything else, her substantial fortune, estimated between $5 million and $10 million, to her beloved brother and parents, perhaps a reflection of where her true loyalties and concerns lay. By 1982, Karen finally sought professional help for her anorexia. She began therapy with psychotherapist Stephen Levenkron in New York, a specialist in eating disorders. In their sessions, Karen made a startling confession. She was taking an alarming 80 to 90 laxatives nightly and secretly consuming thyroid medication to boost her metabolism despite her thyroid gland functioning normally. This revealed the extreme measures she was taking to maintain her dangerously low weight. Levenkron, recognizing the severity of her addiction, immediately confiscated her medication. During a difficult family therapy session designed to address the underlying dynamics contributing to her illness, her mother, Agnes, was tragically unable to articulate that she loved her daughter, a deeply wounding moment for Karen that confirmed her long-held fears of maternal indifference. Despite professional intervention, Karen's condition continued to deteriorate. At one point, her weight plummeted to a terrifying 77 pounds, 35 kilograms, pushing her body to its absolute limits. She experienced severe physical symptoms, including constant dizziness and a dangerously irregular heartbeat, clear signs of the strain on her vital organs. In September 1982, in a desperate attempt to stabilize her health, she was hospitalized at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York. There, she was put on intravenous feeding, a drastic measure to provide her body with much-needed nutrients. This intervention helped her gain a rapid 30 pounds, 14 kilograms, in a short period, a seemingly positive development. However, this sudden weight gain put immense and immediate stress on her already weakened heart, an organ that had been severely compromised by years of starvation and laxative abuse. Karen returned to California in November 1982, her body fragile, but her spirit seemingly renewed. She was determined to revive her career and, crucially, to finalize her divorce from Burris, seeking a fresh start and reclaiming control over her life. The final act of this heartbreaking story unfolded on February 4th, 1983. It was a Friday morning, seemingly ordinary, when Karen Carpenter collapsed in a walk-in closet at her parents' home in Downey, California. The exact circumstances remain etched in the memory of her family. Her mother, Agnes, found her unresponsive. Paramedics were immediately called and found her unconscious and in cardiac arrest, her heart barely beating just one beat every 10 seconds. She was rushed to Downey Community Hospital where, despite desperate efforts to revive her, she was tragically pronounced dead at 9:51 a.m. Karen Ann Carpenter was just 32 years old. Carpenter's funeral was held 4 days later on February 8, 1983, a somber event attended by an estimated 1,000 mourners, including many celebrities from the music industry, a testament to her immense impact. The outpouring of grief was immense as fans worldwide grappled with the shocking news. Her ashes were later interred in a private mausoleum at Pierce Brothers Valley Oaks Memorial Park in Westlake Village, California, a peaceful resting place for a voice that had brought so much joy. The official cause of death was determined by an autopsy conducted on March 11, 1983. The findings ruled out drug overdose, a common speculation at the time due to the secrecy surrounding her illness. Instead, the medical examiner concluded Carpenter's death was due to imitine cardiotoxicity due to or as a consequence of anorexia nervosa. This meant that the toxic effects of emetine on her heart, likely from repeated use of ipecac syrup, exacerbated by her prolonged anorexia, ultimately led to her demise. Further alarming details emerged. Her blood sugar level at the time of death was a staggering 1,110 milligrams per deciliter, 61.6 millimoles per liter, more than 10 times the average, indicating severe metabolic distress. 2 years later, the medical examiner further clarified that Carpenter's heart failure was caused by repeated use of ipecac syrup, an over-the-counter drug typically used to induce vomiting in cases of poisoning. This revelation suggested a desperate attempt by Karen to control her weight by purging. However, her psychotherapist, Stephen Levenkron, vehemently denied that Karen had ever used ipecac during his treatment of her. Many of her close friends, however, believed she had likely abused both laxatives and thyroid medication to maintain her dangerously low weight, measures that put immense strain on her already fragile system. Her death was a stark and tragic reminder of the devastating consequences of untreated eating disorders. Karen Carpenter's death sent shock waves through the world and, tragically, brought much-needed media attention to conditions like anorexia nervosa, which was little understood and rarely discussed openly before her passing. Her family, in a powerful act of remembrance and advocacy, established the Karen A. Carpenter Memorial Foundation, dedicated to raising funds for research into anorexia nervosa and other eating disorders, aiming to prevent similar tragedies. Karen's voice, a truly unique instrument, continues to garner critical acclaim and has profoundly influenced a multitude of significant musicians and singers across genres. Her impact can be heard in the vocal styles of artists like Madonna, Sheryl Crow, Shania Twain, Natalie Imbruglia, and Katie Lang, all of whom have cited her as an inspiration. The tributes from her peers are perhaps the most powerful testament to her vocal genius. Paul McCartney once declared that she had the best female voice in the world, melodic, harmonious, and distinct, a remarkable compliment from one of music's greatest. Elton John hailed her as one of the greatest voices of our time, recognizing the timeless quality of her artistry. Even the famously discerning John Lennon once reportedly told her, "I want to tell you, love, that you've got a great voice," a rare and meaningful acknowledgement from the Beatle legend. Beyond her vocal prowess, her drumming ability also earned widespread praise from fellow musicians. Legendary session drummers like Hal Blaine and Cubby O'Brien, as well as jazz drumming icon Buddy Rich, lauded her rhythmic talent and precision. She was consistently recognized for her drumming skills, appearing in the top ranks of drummers in every annual music poll conducted by Playboy magazine from 1974 to 1980, a remarkable achievement for a female musician in a male-dominated field. On October 12, 1983, a mere 8 months after her death, the Carpenters received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a lasting tribute to their musical legacy, an indelible mark on popular culture. Her enduring impact continued to be recognized decades later. In 1999, VH1 ranked Carpenter at 29th on their prestigious list of the 100 greatest women of rock and roll, acknowledging her groundbreaking contributions. In 2010, Rolling Stone magazine placed Carpenter at number 94 on their esteemed list of the 100 greatest singers of all time, describing her voice as impossibly rich and almost startlingly intimate, perfectly capturing the emotional depth she brought to every song. Karen's poignant story has been immortalized in various forms, further cementing her place in popular culture. Todd Haynes' 1987 film Superstar, The Karen Carpenter Story, which controversially used Barbie dolls to depict the tragic narrative, became a cult classic, celebrated for its unique artistic approach to a sensitive subject. However, the film was later withdrawn due to copyright infringement issues related to the use of the Carpenters' music. In 1989, a more conventional television movie, The Karen Carpenter Story, starring Cynthia Gibb in the titular role, brought her life and struggles to a broader audience. This film helped to restore the Carpenters' critical standing and significantly increase the popularity of their music, introducing their timeless sound to a new generation. In 2013, NPR recognized Karen Carpenter's enduring impact by naming her the Queen of Rock and including her in their exclusive list of 50 Great Voices, a powerful testament to her lasting vocal legacy. Karen Carpenter's life was a symphony of extraordinary talent, a melody of shattered dreams, and a haunting echo of a battle fought in silent anguish. Her voice continues to resonate, touching hearts across generations, a timeless reminder of the beautiful, fragile power of music and the critical importance of understanding the unseen struggles within. Her legacy is not just the iconic song she left behind, but also the crucial conversation her tragic death ignited about eating disorders, paving the way for greater awareness and compassion.